Hello, here once again for a vinyl update. Got some more random nonsense here to show you. Oh, and before I start that, I want to show some stuff that I've been picking up here and there, as I do. First thing here is a VHS movie called Robot Monster in 3D. Paid 50 cents for this. I have the DVD, and me and Kat had watched it not too long ago, and which I'd seen it before. I just love this movie. It's so ridiculous. If you like bad movies, they're so hilarious, hilariously bad, they're good. You definitely want to check out this one. Came out in 1953 originally. Robot Monster. It's a guy in a very bad gorilla suit. Also picked this up in the clearance Child Bride DVD. It's one of those early exploitation movies. I don't know if I've seen this one or not. It sort of looks familiar, but this came out in 1938 originally. I don't think it has any. It's from Alpha Video. All their stuff's good all the time. And then I also picked this one up. Delinquent Daughters was also in the clearance. It says sin, shame. Their love was deadly, driven to self-destruction. Their lust was insatiable. I mean, you can't beat that for $2 because it's probably going to be good. Of course, I like everything. Like I always say, 1944 is when this one came out. This is also an Alpha Video, which is also Alpha Video, and what's the other one? Oldies, I think. This one says a throbbing drama of shackled youth. I forgot to read that, but so there's those. And then I picked this Roger Corman triple feature up. Let me get the sticker off here so I can show you the cover. Because, you know, they put stickers like right over everything. It's a Lethal Ladies collection. Firecracker, TNT Jones, and Too Hot to Handle. I think I have TNT Jones already, but I don't have those other ones. So, you know, you have to pick those up. If you're not familiar with Roger Corman, anything he's ever done, as far as I'm concerned, is pure gold. You know, he's had quite a few hits. And if you're familiar with him, if you're not familiar with him, you might be familiar with Sharknado. Roger Corman has done Sharknado, and I think they're working on Sharknado 4. I've only seen the first two, so Roger Corman. Then I picked up the new issue of Videoscope. This is a great magazine. I talked about it in a previous video. They do a lot of reviews in here. There's also Roger Corman Death Race 2050, which that has just came out. I haven't seen that yet, but I'd really like to. There's a something weird video ad in there with a she-freak there in the corner. But they always have really good stuff. There's Coffin Joe in here. There's Bubba Hotep, Blood Mania, Psychic Killer, you know. Then there's a Vinegar Syndrome ad there. I love the Vinegar Syndrome stuff. They're also the one that has the exploitation TV on the streaming devices. And then a new issue of Scary Monsters magazine, which I showed an old issue that I picked up, and it has the same monster right here on it for their 50th issue. This is the 104th gory issue here. They go into Dark Shadows here and the Tingler. If you haven't seen the Tingler with Vincent Price, you really should, because it's just great. There's the back of it. Don't know if you can hear it in the background, listening to the Retro Cocktail Hour on Kansas Public Radio. Really should check that out. I've been listening to that ever since the early 90s when it started, when I had my first computer, and it used to buffer all the time, and I couldn't really listen to it like I wanted to. Anyway, I also picked up this CD, Nirvana, From the Muddy Banks of the Wishkah. This is the only Nirvana that I did not own. I've seen this on vinyl recently, and I haven't picked it up. Probably because it's a live album, I don't know. There's the pictures there in the middle. But yeah, I do need to get this on vinyl, but at least I do have it on CD now. And I always say I'll put stuff on my iPod, but my iPod is so full, both my iPods are so full, that I'm getting it's really hard for me to delete things to make room for more, which is what I have to do. Anyway, and then I picked up some really, what I would consider rare 45s at a Goodwill. Day before yesterday. This is Deacon Andy Griffith. What it was football, part 1 and 2. The very first time I heard this was on the Dr. Demento show, and I just love it. Also have the album with that on there. And then Sheb Woolley with Santa and the Purple People Eater, and Star of Love on the other side. Sheb Woolley's great. He's the one that originally did the Purple People Eater. Then I got Billy and Lily with Lucky Ladybug on Swan Records. This is a great song. It's on Oldies Radio. If you're not familiar with that song, check it out. And you might remember it. If you're old as I am, you might actually remember it. Then this is another one that people will probably remember if they heard. Shirley Ellis, The Name Game. And what's on the other side of this? I Promise You is on the other side of that one. And then Whisper to the Wind. To Me, the Whisper to Me Wind is on the other side of this one. And then also got the original version, Pat Boone Tutti Frutti, doing a Little Richard cover, and then I'll Be Home on the other side on Dot. I picked up this little SpongeBob little twisty guy, you know, because he's awesome. And then on to the vinyl, the albums, I should say. This is the Juke Jumpers with the joints jumping, and the picture alone, I mean, look at that. Isn't that just hilariously great? And I'm not sure about who this bunch is. It's on Amazing Records, so it's going to be amazing. And there it is, the Amazing label. Let's see, some of the songs they do on here is Booger Red, Necks and Feet, You Did Me Wrong, T-Bone Shuffle, Bluebird Boogie. This was in Fort Worth, Texas in 1981, so that ought to be really interesting. And then this one was cool to find, The Weather Report with Mr. Gone. The Weather Report is jazz, if I'm not mistaken. This is a gold stamp promo, which doesn't mean much to me because, I mean, it's not a white label, so I don't know what that means exactly. But it's in really good shape. And if it's jazz, if I'm thinking of the right group, I'm going to love it. I just love that picture on the back. Actually, the one on the front's really good, too. Look at that. Very abstract collage. And then Margaret Whiting, Going Places. This says it's still sealed, but I don't know if that's the real sealed. This was at a thrift store for 99 cents. The price on the back says new, $25, right here, someone wrote. But, I mean, it sort of does look like it's never been opened. There's also an $8 price on it here. But let's open it, shall we? I mean, I didn't realize it was still sealed, but, I mean, I'm definitely going to open it to listen to it, so let's just open it right here. Sealed to reveal, my first sealed to reveal. And this plastic on here leads me to believe that it wasn't original, but I could be wrong about that. I'm having a heck of a time getting it out. There's the original Dot sleeve. It's got a lot of cool artists on there. Some of those records I actually have. And then here's the record. Yeah, it's brand new. Look at that. Brand new. From what year? Margaret Whiting on Dot Records from, let's see here. Let's get the year on it. I don't see a year on here, but it's probably in the 50s or 60s, I would say. Probably 50s. So, there you go. Opening a brand new record on my brand new video that I'm currently doing. So I'll be listening to that one. I'm sure that one's going to sound really good since there's going to be no surface noise. There's also, as I'm putting the sleeve in here, I see on the original sleeve a Ken Nordine ad on it. Okay, I'll put that in there later. This one is called The Bairds, recorded in Dublin. Irish Coffee is the name of it. This one's still in the shrink wrap, but it has been opened. I just love the picture on the cover. But they do, let's see, Whiskey, You're the Devil, Finnegan's Wake, Femeroid Lassies, Mountain Dew, Whiskey in the Jar, of course, Irish Soldier Boy, Lark in the Morning, Blackthorn Stick, Munster Buttermilk, Saddle the Pony. That would be really good. I don't see a year on this, but if it's done in Dublin, it's going to be good. More than likely, it's just a white sleeve, and there's a plain label. But yeah, that'll be a good one to check out. Very interesting. I always love foreign records. I always love records of different nationalities and things. I mean, then I picked this one up. I'm not sure if I have this one. I don't think I do. The Exotic Sounds of Martin Denny. Primitiva, I guess it's pronounced. On Liberty. This one's not in the greatest shape, but this is one that doesn't turn up that often. So this is probably an original because it's the original black Liberty label. So I would have bought it regardless if I had it, or if it was the other label, just because it's Martin Denny. And then this one, Quiet Village, I already have probably more than one copy of this. This is in one of those real thick plastic sleeves, and this is on the later Liberty label there. So this is probably a second pressing. It looks brand new. It's just really dusty. But, you know, I between Les Baxter, Esquivel, and Martin Denny, Enoch Light, all that stuff, you know, a lot of those artists, I just can't, and like Emma Sumac or somebody, there's no way I can leave the record there. I mean, I think, okay, well, let's not be greedy. Let's leave the record for someone else that might really want it, you know, get it excited like I do. But then I think, what if no one ever finds it? And this was my only chance to get it. Of course, I'm talking about stuff that I already have. You know, it's like, oh, I'll get a second copy. I mean, if you're upgrading, you know, that's totally, I understand that. But if you're not upgrading, you're sort of hoarding. Wouldn't that be called hoarding? Well, you know, look around. I'm a vinyl hoarder. I'm an everything hoarder. Anyway, this is a good one. Herbie Hancock, Feet Don't Fail Me Now. It's a great cover. And I've seen this album online, but never seen it in person. This is also a gold stamp promo, I guess. And Feet Don't Fail Me Now was a Utopia song, which is Todd Rundgren's group. There's Herbie Hancock on that side. And got some lyrics on this side, and so on and so forth. But yeah, Herbie Hancock I think this is probably the third one I have of his. I was really surprised to see that record. And then this one, Foghat, Energized. I'm pretty sure I don't have this one. I have quite a bit of Foghat, but like I said, I don't think I have this one. There's the back. I don't recognize any of the songs on this one, but this type of music, this classic rock, southern rock, I always like, so, you know, you can't really go wrong with that. And then I got the Bible soundtrack, motion picture soundtrack. I have this movie on DVD. Some of the early Bible movies, even the Ten Commandments, I'm not saying Ten Commandments isn't a good movie. All those movies are very elaborate. The Cecil B. DeMille and all those movies are really done well. They're really elaborate, but I just, you know, The Passion of the Christ was probably the closest movie that came out that was that type of movie, biblical, that was, I don't know, it was probably a little too accurate. I mean, I won't say accurate, but it was a little too violent for a lot of people's taste. I just would like to see those type of movies done more accurate as far as portrayed like things were potentially, you know, written about the way they were really so, quote unquote, so-called portrayed in the Bible. But I could have a whole podcast on that. And the last one I got here is Return to Forever, Music Magic. And I'm not sure which is the name of the artist, but the sticker is right there in the middle of the flower for the price. The cover and the back cover looks equally cool, so I'm sure that's why I picked it up. It's on Columbia. And then the sleeve is, try to get this out here. There's this sort of lyrics, and it's like a whole, this is probably jazz. Came out in 1977. Chick Corea is on here, and Stanley Clarke. So that's probably why I picked it up right there, because Stanley Clarke is an artist I would really love to get a lot more stuff by. This is only the second release that I have with him on it. I have one of his solo albums where he's just, he's a bass player. Very jazz fusion oriented, very funky at times. Very good stuff. So I'm sure that's going to be equally good. So that's all the vinyl and stuff I have to show. Put this back in the sleeve. Maybe have better luck than I tried the first time. So yeah, thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't subscribed for some reason. I'd said in a few videos back that I was thinking about having a contest, and I cannot get that back in there. When I open a new record, I guess maybe I put that in wrong. Maybe it'll go in better this way. Sometimes a record sleeve will only go in a certain way, so maybe that's why. Anyway, I said a few videos back that I was thinking about having a contest for my 300 plus subscribers. I haven't actually come up with any good ideas to do a contest, and I've been trying to watch other people's videos to try to get an idea of what to do. If there's anyone out there that has a suggestion of what would be a good contest to do, or contest that you've done in the past, just let me know. I might think, well, that's a great idea. I never thought of that. I'll try that out. So leave me a comment on that if you would. Please check out my my Facebook group, Cool and Strange Music Magazine fans group on Facebook. And then, of course, I have a page on there as well. Also, check out my podcast if you're a Kiss fan or a heavy metal music rock fan. Me and Eli does a podcast, Kiss Meets the Podcast, on YouTube as well. We had a special guest on there recently. The new episode will be posted probably today or tomorrow, Tuesday at the latest. Check that out, and my girlfriend's channel, Vinyl Update channel, Vintage Owl. She just uploaded some. Check those out. We also do a series on there called Verses. We just did an episode. And that's all for now, I guess, as I listen to the Retro Cocktail Hour, one of my favorite shows online of all time. If you're into easy listening, exotica, and weird music, it's all good. Check it out, please. I think you'll really like it. So, enough babbling. This video is almost 20 minutes long, so we'll see you in the next vinyl update, or whatever I post.